Four of us. I'm with the commission, and I'm trying to get the
This is the unexpected showdown no one saw coming. Yet it's the one we've all been talking about for weeks, at least inside the ring. Just hours after trading fiery words in the media, Crawford and Canelo Alvarez took their rivalry beyond the ring, all the way to the airport. Let's get you up to speed. This clash started a few days ago when Terence Crawford, fresh off his victory over Madoff, made it clear he wanted a fight with Canelo Alvarez. During a recent Instagram live session with His Excellency Turki Alil Sheikh, both Crawford and Turki openly called out Canelo, making their intentions clear.
Canelo next.
Yes.
Let's
go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him?
We are ready.
Yeah, just put me in the game, coach. Just put me in the game. Canelo Crawford, the biggest fight.
Since then, Crawford hasn't held back, calling Canelo a duck for avoiding serious talks about the fight. His words were a direct shot at Canelo's hesitation to step in the ring with him. A matchup many believe could be one of the biggest boxing events in recent history. During a post-fight interview after Edgar Berlanga's latest bout, Canelo was asked about Crawford's challenge. At first, he brushed it off, simply replying with a cold, no comment.
On the internet with Turki Alil Sheikh calling you out, what's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comment.
But when pushed further, Canelo didn't hold back. He completely dismissed Crawford's challenge, calling him too small and too easy. Canelo made it clear he didn't see Crawford as a real threat, suggesting that fighting him wouldn't be worth his time.
I heard him say, I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want 200 million for Benavidez, and he want 150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him.
That should have been the end of it, but for Crawford, it was the breaking point. Tensions escalated fast when the two unexpectedly crossed paths at the airport. Both fighters were with their teams, but neither was willing to back down, especially Crawford. Still fired up over Canelo's "too easy" comment, he allegedly confronted him, and within moments things turned physical.
Fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business talk.
This turn of events is surprising because not long ago Crawford had shown respect for Canelo's performance against Berlanga. In that fight, Canelo once again proved why he's considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, dropping Berlanga early and dominating most of the match. Despite Berlanga's resilience, Canelo's display left no doubt that he still rules the super middleweight division. Watching from the sidelines, even Crawford couldn't deny the Mexican champion's skill. Crawford shared his thoughts on Canelo's performance, saying, "I first attended the Canelo-Berlanga fight, then went to the UFC fight. Canelo did what he always does. He put on an amazing show. Berlanga also showed a lot of heart and determination, making it an exciting fight." Crawford's praise for both fighters revealed his respect for the sport, but it also highlighted his relentless drive to face Canelo. Even though he's recently moved up to super welterweight, Crawford is eyeing a fight with Canelo, and he's determined to make it happen. The fight would be 2 divisions above his current weight, but Crawford is undeterred by the size difference. For him, it's about securing his place in boxing history.
They're 2 great pound-for-pound fighters, and they feel like, it makes sense, and they want to fight each other. Stylistically, it's a great fight. But, Canelo, he's a big dude. So I think it'd be hard for anyone to beat him at 168. But, it's definitely a big money fight, and that's why we're all in boxing, to make the biggest fights.
Crawford's victory over Israel Madrimov was his first fight to go the distance in 8 years, leading some analysts to wonder if his power might be fading as he moves up in weight. Madrimov, a tough and durable opponent, pushed Crawford all the way to the final bell, making it a competitive fight. While Crawford's power remains one of his strongest traits, the bigger question now is how it will hold up against someone like Canelo, who has repeatedly shown he can take the hardest punches in the sport.
couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Jaime Munguia couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Triple G couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Kovalev couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Berlanga couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Daniel Jacobs couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. The power of Caleb Plant couldn't phase Canelo Alvarez. ¿Qué Buck Crawford le va a hacer a ese tigre? Ustedes no vieron Buck Crawford versus Mashromov. What power did Buck Crawford have? Put me in the game, coach. No, you're the 15th man in the roster. You will sit in the bench.
Well,
Despite these concerns, Crawford remains confident. In the same interview, he made it clear that his desire to face Canelo hasn't changed, and he believes it's the fight everyone wants to see. I've been wanting the fight. It's a legacy fight. It's the biggest fight in boxing today, Crawford said. I feel like this fight is the last of the Mohicans. I think it would be massive. You've got two guys who are top 3 pound for pound going head to head.
Like this fight right here is like the last of the Mohicans. You know, we both coming in an era where Floyd Mayweather was #1 pound for pound, Showtime, and HBO era, that type of era. So I think this fight will be massive.
Crawford's confidence shines through as he talks about the potential matchup. He acknowledges that Canelo is bigger, but it doesn't intimidate him. In fact, it drives him even more. For Crawford, facing a challenge like Canelo is what boxing is all about. Pushing yourself to the limit and taking on the toughest competition. I know Canelo is bigger than me, but I'm up for the challenge, he said. It's all respect, and if he decides to step in the ring with me, it will be an electrifying fight. Of course, I'll beat him. There's no doubt in my mind that I can beat anyone I step in the ring with. Crawford's impressive career record certainly supports his confidence, but a fight with Canelo brings a new level of challenge. Canelo, known for his power, ring IQ, and vast experience, has defeated top fighters across multiple weight classes. Facing Crawford, who has dominated in the lighter divisions, would create a dramatic clash of styles, skills, and physical attributes. For now, Canelo hasn't committed to his next opponent. After the Berlanga fight, he mentioned taking time off with his family before making any decisions. This leaves the door open for a range of possibilities, including a potential showdown with Crawford.
Terrence, any chance your kids become UFC champions?
No.
Why not?
They don't pay you enough.
Things are getting even more interesting. While Berlanga may have earned what some consider a moral victory by going the distance, Canelo Alvarez once again left his mark on his opponent, even without delivering the KO his fans are used to. This marks the 4th consecutive fight in which Canelo floored his opponent, but still walked away with a decision victory. For someone with a legacy as impressive as Canelo's, this trend might raise some eyebrows, but he's not bothered. What are they going to say now? Canelo said after the fight, showing the frustration of a champion who's constantly questioned despite his dominance. I fight younger fighters, they say I fight older fighters. They always talk about my experience, my talent, my hard work, my intelligence. Everything together makes me the best. It's almost as if Canelo has reached a point where no victory is ever enough to quiet the doubters. But perhaps for him, it's not about what he's already accomplished. It's about what lies ahead. What critics have to say is hard to ignore. After his loss to Dmitry Bivol in May 2022, Canelo has faced a series of talented fighters, but none quite on his level. He was a -1,600 favorite against Berlanga, and the conversation is growing that boxing's top star needs a true challenge to reignite that sense of danger and excitement in his career. That's where Terence Crawford sees an opportunity. Known for his precision, speed, and ring IQ, Crawford has compared a potential move up in weight to face Canelo to the iconic 1983 showdown between Marvin Hagler and Roberto Duran. Except this time, the smaller guy wins, Crawford said confidently. But before any serious talks between Crawford and Canelo can take place, there's another looming challenge in Canelo's immediate future. a potential rematch with Dimitri Bivol. This time, the stakes could be even higher. Bivol, who outclassed Canelo in their first meeting despite some suspiciously close scorecards, is set to face Artur Beterbiev for the undisputed light heavyweight championship. If Bivol comes out on top, Canelo is already eyeing the rematch, seeking redemption and the chance to become an undisputed champion in a second weight class. This is where things really start to heat up. Canelo, never one to shy away from a challenge, is motivated by the memory of his loss to Bivol. "Nothing was right in that fight for me," Canelo has said, referring to a left wrist injury that required surgery after his third bout with Gennady Golovkin in September 2022. The idea of Canelo returning at full strength to settle the score with Bivol is intriguing, but it also carries the risk of history repeating itself. After all, Bivol is no slouch, and his dominant performance in their first fight showed just how difficult he can be for Canelo's aggressive style.
Canelo had the options for rematch. He didn't use it. Now he gonna fight again against someone not for me. I don't know if he wants to fight me or not, but I'm not.
Even if Canelo makes it to a rematch, he'd likely find himself in unfamiliar territory as the underdog. Bivol is already a slight favorite against Beterbiev, a fighter with a perfect KO record who strikes fear into his opponents. He has that ability to beat Beterbiev, Canelo said, acknowledging Bivol's skill but making it clear that his focus is solely on a fight with Bivol, no Beterbiev for him. If Bivol falls short in their October showdown, the possibility of a rematch could fade. However, even if Bivol wins, there's still another hurdle, the weight class.
Is there one guy that comes to mind? Is there one person that comes to mind?
No. Bivol maybe, just to get the rematch. Bivol maybe.
Bivol is one of the guys that I have my rematch now to like I say, if he wins that.
Canelo wants the rematch at 175 pounds, the same weight class where Bivol previously beat him. However, Bivol, confident after proving he can defeat Canelo at light heavyweight, has suggested a rematch at 168 pounds, where Canelo holds the undisputed super middleweight title. This weight debate may seem trivial to casual fans, but for elite fighters, those extra pounds make a huge difference. Canelo, though, holds leverage. He represents the biggest payday Bivol could get, which might convince the Russian champion to agree to a rematch on Canelo's terms. Meanwhile, another name keeps coming up, David Benavidez. The young, hungry Mexican-American fighter has been calling out Canelo for a while, hoping to force a bout. Despite Benavidez's strong performance against Alexander Gvozdyk, marred by a hand injury, Canelo remains indifferent. He's fighting in his weight class, 175, and he doesn't look like he always looks because it's different when you're fighting in your weight class, Canelo dismissed. It seems a Benavidez-Canelo clash is unlikely, at least for now. However, there's still a wild card, Terence Crawford. The 37-year-old former undisputed welterweight champion recently made his debut at 154 pounds, narrowly defeating Ismail Madrimov, a tricky but underrated boxer. Despite not looking dominant, Crawford remains confident, eyeing Canelo as his next big challenge. The weight difference is concerning. Crawford has never fought above 154 pounds, while Canelo has been competing at 168 pounds or higher for years. Yet Crawford is unshaken by the size disparity, believing his skill can overcome Canelo's physical advantages. "Being bigger doesn't win fights," Crawford said, reflecting his career of defying the odds. A fight between Canelo and Crawford would be massive, possibly the biggest non-heavyweight bout in boxing today. The commercial appeal is undeniable, with fans clamoring for a showdown between two of the sport's finest. Despite the size difference, Crawford believes this is a legacy-defining fight he can win. "I feel like it's a legacy fight and I feel like it's a fight that I can actually win," Crawford said. His confidence is backed by his impressive track record. For Canelo, the prospect of fighting Crawford brings intrigue. He's a proven star, but as Canelo pointed out, if I beat him, nobody's going to say, "Oh, he beat Crawford," because Canelo's a good fighter. He's a pound-for-pound great too, but he's smaller. Canelo's motivation isn't just legacy anymore. It's also the payday, the excitement, and perhaps the final chapter of his storied career. If the money's right, why not at this moment in my career? Canelo acknowledged the inevitability of taking fights that make both financial and competitive sense. However, Crawford, ever confident, has made it clear that if the fight happens, the only things to worry about are Canelo's power and size. Yet, Crawford doesn't seem intimidated, suggesting that his superior reach and speed could help him overcome those differences. Despite this, Canelo's visible frustration with the repeated questions about the matchup indicates he may be growing tired of Crawford's relentless pursuit. Canelo has set a staggering $150 million price tag for the fight, a clear indication of how highly he values himself in this potential bout. Crawford, however, is unwilling to back down, even as the chances of the fight happening appear slim. Canelo's response to Crawford's chase has been straightforward. He's not going to take the bait unless the terms are just right. Canelo is at the top of his game, with a resume that speaks for itself. His dominance across multiple weight classes, coupled with his ferocious power, makes him a feared opponent for anyone, especially someone like Crawford, who is naturally smaller. Crawford's claim that he only needs to worry about Canelo's power and size seems overly simplistic, as it dismisses the complexity of what makes Canelo dangerous inside the ring. After all, Canelo has been a wrecking ball, bulldozing opponents who entered with similar confidence. Crawford's speed and reach might offer some advantages, but these could be dwarfed by Canelo's tactical brilliance and ability to adjust mid-fight. Crawford's confidence stems from his impeccable record of 41 wins and no losses, including 31 knockouts. He has proven time and again that he belongs among the best in boxing. His willingness to face bigger fighters is well documented, and he seems genuinely unafraid to step up to fight Canelo. He argues that his experience against larger opponents equips him to handle whatever Canelo brings to the table. Yet, there's growing concern among boxing fans and analysts that Crawford is biting off more than he can chew. While he's fought bigger fighters before, Canelo isn't just a bigger guy. He's a fighter with a combination of power, technique, and experience that could present challenges Crawford has never encountered. Some critics argue that Crawford's pursuit of Canelo is more about chasing a massive payday before retirement than about building his legacy. They believe he's looking for a shortcut, opting for a financial windfall instead of fighting the best at 154 and 147 pounds. For a fighter nearing the twilight of his career, this reasoning is understandable, but the optics aren't great, and many fans are beginning to tire of his relentless campaigning for a fight that seems increasingly unlikely to materialize. Despite all the noise, Crawford remains adamant that a showdown with Canelo would be massive, calling it the biggest fight in boxing. On paper, it's certainly an enticing matchup. Crawford, the smaller, faster fighter, versus Canelo, the bigger, more powerful one. It's a classic David versus Goliath storyline that has always intrigued boxing fans. But the question remains, is this fight about legacy or just about securing one final massive payday? For Canelo, the idea of fighting Crawford may feel like a step backward. He's already conquered multiple divisions, fought the best, and established himself as one of the biggest names in the sport. Facing Crawford, a naturally smaller opponent, could be seen as a mismatch. Even if he wins, Canelo might worry that the victory wouldn't carry the same weight as his other achievements. Canelo has always been more interested in challenges that push him, whether it's moving up in weight or taking on dangerous opponents like Bivol or Caleb Plant. So, what do you think about all this? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.